Greetings and welcome to this lecture on pomegranate. And because pomegranate is one of the deciduous fruit crops that shed their leaves during the winter, they can only be grown commercially in high altitude mountains. And the most important area of cultivating pomegranate is actually Jabal Al Akhdar. So this lecture will focus on pomegranate of Jabal Al Akhdar. The Jabal Al Akhdar, or where the pomegranates are cultivated, is located here in the northern part of Oman, and it is a part of the interior. It is very specific and very important agroclimatic zone where other deciduous fruit crops are also cultivated, and that is because of the good weather and suitable temperature. That's because these, as you already know, the trees like that will require chill hours or chill units. That means they require cold temperature. And so this is only available when the temperature goes from below 7 to about 0. So anytime the temperature goes below 7 degrees Celsius, then we calculate the chill hours. And so the only place where this temperature can go that far, that low, and in large area is Al Jabal Akhdar. And this will give these crops enough cold requirements so they can be cultivated and they can flower and produce fruits, similar to olives, also here grown, apple, pear, apricot, peach, and other fruit trees. Also, the temperature during the summertime is not too high, so usually it does not exceed 40 degrees Celsius for the most of the year. As I mentioned before, there are other fruit crops that are also cultivated in Jabal Akhdar because all of these require cold temperature. They all require cold weather. So usually these are called temperate crops. And these include several crops like peach, almond, and we have grapes, pear, here apricots also, and apples. So the whole variety of fruit trees that can be cultivated there. And all these crops are actually temperate. So they are temperate or deciduous that require cold temperature because they go through dormancy, as you have learned before. So these crops are all grown there, but we cannot, cover all of them. So we'll only cover pomegranate. Now, pomegranate, where is the origin of pomegranate? Actually, there are two origins of pomegranate. One is Iran, and the other one is Socotra in Yemen. And Oman is in the middle between these two origins of pomegranates. These two types of pomegranates, the one that is from Socotra and the one that's from Iran, are two different species. They are not the same. And we had done a study, and then we found out that the cultivars in Oman, they come from two places, one from Yemen and the other one is from Socotra. I mean, one is from Socotra, Yemen, and the other one is from Iran. So the two types of pomegranate is this one. It's called Ponica, Protoponica. And the common one is this one, which is called Ponica granatum. So this is the Yemeni one, and this is from Iran. This is the most common one worldwide, but this is also cultivated in parts of the world. Because the Iranian type, Ponica granatum, is the most important commercially worldwide. The most like Hello, there's a cultivar called Hello of pomegranate. It is grown in Jabal Akhdar, And this hello is actually Ponica granatum. Qusum also, there's another variety called Qusum. There's also wild sour varieties of pomegranate. That's another one. And there's another one called Malasi. So the most common cultivars are these ones. All of them are Ponica granatum. Actually, the family of um, pomegranate is called Ponicaceae in the past. This is the name before. They changed the name now. It's called Lythraceae. And if you remember, we visited the SKU Botanic Garden. We saw another Lythraceae plant. If you remember that plant, it is actually henna. Okay, so henna is also belong to the same family like pomegranate. So pomegranate and henna are the same family, Lythraceae. Anyways, what you need to know is that the pomegranate belongs to the family Lythraceae. The pomegranate is deciduous, that means they lose their leaves during the winter time. It is classified as subtropical, although it is grown in cold climates. It needs cold climate for good fruit quality, but it is still a subtropical plant, not really a temperate plant, not like apple or pear or peach or apricot. These are all temperate, but for the pomegranate, it is subtropical, even though it requires cold weather. So it is subtropical. Okay, the most important cultivar worldwide is called Wonderful. This cultivar did not do very well here in Oman. It has large fruits, very nice color like this one here, and they make all these products, and these are actually expensive. In Oman, you find these 4.5 riyals for this juice from Wonderful cultivar. The pomegranate is actually a small tree, or sometimes it's called a shrub. It can go up to 4 meters high, not too far, not too high, I mean. Okay, it has branching, it is suckering, but it has a lot of suckers. You can see here, all these are suckers actually coming out from the roots. So that's how it is, that's how they grow. The leaves are small. You can see the leaves here. The leaves are very small, not really that big. It's almost the same size like the olive. And they are very slender and oblong. So they are oblong. And then almost sessile. Almost sessile means almost no petiole. So if you look at the stem of the pomegranate, like here, you see very little petiole, and then you see the leaf. So this is why it's called almost sessile. It is sessile when it is directly attached. This is a sessile. That means there is no petiole. But this is almost a sessile. That means there's a small petiole here. So you can see it here. You can see the petiole here in the pomegranate leaves. Very small, petioles. The flowers of pomegranate is large, really big flower. You can see it from far away. That's why pomegranate is also used as ornamental plant. In many countries, it is used as ornamental because of the flower. Flower is very big. Usually it's red, sometimes white. The Ponica, the Yemeni type, Ponica proto-Ponica is actually white, but the Iranian type is mostly red. It's a funnel form flowers, and I'll show you this during the lab where we went to SKU Botanic Garden. They grow on terminal shoots, and they come in clusters, so the whole bunch of fruit of leaves. I mean, so like you see this is the stem. So at the end you have 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 5. So 1 to 5 flowers per fluorescence or per shoot. Okay. The pollination is done by insects, sometimes by birds, hummingbirds especially. It is preferred to have cross-pollination most of the time for pomegranate. And here is the picture. You can see here we have like 3 flowers, 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes 1, sometimes 5. So it can range from 1 to 5. And so here, what you see here is the male variety. This is a male flower. And here are the female flowers. Usually the female flowers will have an ovary, so it is swollen here. That's how you tell the difference between them. So if you can see here, you could tell the male because of this swollen area. This is not swollen, so this is not round. This one is round, this is not round. And so that's how you tell, yeah, this is actually a female flower and this is a male flower. This is how they develop. So this is how it is. So you can see also the stigma here. There's no stigma here, but here you can see the stigma. This is the stigma. Okay, this is the ovary. So this is the ovary. You can see here the ovary. This is the stigma. And this is the calyx. Remember, the calyx always stays in the fruit of the pomegranate. Okay, so this is the second stage of fruit development after pollination, after fertilization. And this is already grown fruit, but it is very young, very small fruit. You can see that the anther still here. The stigma is also still here, but usually these will be gone away. You can see that the petals already gone. These are the petals, usually gone. This is gone, but this is the petal also, it's gone. So what's left is the calyx, always there in the fruit, and some remaining anthers, and also this is called anthers, as you know. And you can see here the stigma and the style. And this is where the seeds are. The seeds of pomegranate are called arils. They are not called seeds, they are called arils, and we'll talk about that in the next slide. The fruit itself of the pomegranate is rounded. You can see it is rounded, yani. Okay. So the fruit is irregular, not totally round, but it is like it's like an oval type of thing. So it is irregular, but it is round in general. So the fruit here, the pomegranate, is also pom. So it's like a pom fruit. I mean, that's the name of it. That's what's called pomegranate. It's a bright red, usually red. Okay, depending on the cultivar. Malas is not as red, but the hello is red. Also, the sour is red. So, as I mentioned to you, the skin is leathery. It's like a skin, leathery skin, and also the calyx, the remaining part of the flower, is always there in the fruit. The rind, which is the skin, encloses the membranous white tissue. The white tissue is the endocarp. Inside of those are arylate seeds. That means the seeds are always inside aril. So if you look at the fruits of the pomegranate, you have the fruit that is on the outside skin, which is the exocarp, and inside of that, you remember these white membranes. So these membranes are actually the endocarp, and in between there's a mesocarp. Inside these, you'll find the seeds inside. These seeds are actually enclosed in arils. The actual seeds are actually inside of those. So the seeds are usually inside here, as I show you in the next slide, inshallah. So that is the arils. Okay, that's where the juice is also. Fruits usually take 6 to 7 months. They usually flower in February. They flower in February, January, and then usually the harvest is about July, usually July to September. Some of it in June, but not much. Mostly in July and August. So August, September, July. That's about the time when they harvest fruits in Jabal Al Akhdar. This is again another picture of the fruit. This is the calyx here, and this is the aril. So this is the aril. Here is the aril, and this is the white tissue. The white tissue is the endocarp. This is the mesocarp, as you know before, and outside, of course, the skin, which is very leathery. This is the exocarp. So this is basically the fruit. That's the construction of the fruit. So this is actually the arils. These are arils. They are called arils, these seeds. Inside of them, you find this is called aril. And inside this aril, you find the seed. So the seed is here, and then the remaining will be the juice. So that is the structure of the seed. Here are the arils again, the same photo. You can see the arils are all juicy. They have all the pomegranate juice, and you can see inside is the seed. Here again another picture of the aril. And if you open the aril, this is the seed that is inside of it. So this is actually the seeds now that usually is enclosed inside these arils. So this is the aril, and inside of the aril you find the seeds. Okay, to grow pomegranate, what do you need? You need a good soil, but they can tolerate drought, considered drought tolerant. They can tolerate low rainfall, low irrigation. Okay, and they can be grown in acidic or alkaline soils, calcareous soils or acid soils. Pomegranate are very good for that. So they can adapt to many soils. They also, they require mild winter. They don't like too cold because remember they are subtropical. So that's where they are. But they need cold temperature to do very good fruits, and also they do well in terms of fruit quality. The bud break and bloom of Pomegranate Jabal Al Akhdar starts February actually, and March through April, and that's when they start. This is the flowering time. During fruit development phase, temperature continue to rise, reaching every 35. As you know, I show you already in the graph the temperature. The hottest month in Jabal Al Akhdar is June and August, but it doesn't usually go above 40 degrees Celsius where pomegranate is grown. So it doesn't go this far. They require chilling requirement, but it's unclear because it is subtropical crop, and they can be grown actually in lower altitude, but they don't produce very good fruits. The pomegranate can tolerate cold temperature up to minus 11 degrees Celsius. So they don't like cold temperature, but if the temperature went down to 11 degrees Celsius, that is fine. They can survive. Tolerant means they will survive, but they will be damaged. They will not be killed, but they will be damaged. How do you propagate pomegranate? Pomegranate is propagated by cuttings. Usually, you can use stem and root cuttings, or you can use also seedlings from fresh fruits. You can propagate pomegranate from suckers or by layering. So basically, you can use a variety of propagation method. You can use cuttings, layering. You can also use seeds. Not better, because it's better to have this vegetative propagation. You can also use tissue culture, of course. Tissue culture can be used with anything. Rootstocks usually, that means grafting is usually not done in pomegranates. Not many people, they don't do rootstock, they don't do grafting on pomegranates. It's the best thing to do is stem cuttings. Very easy to do. Will give you this kind of plant. There are many issues in terms of pest and disease of pomegranate. The most important thing in Jabal Al Akhdar is pomegranate butterfly, and that is very damaging to the crop. Okay, so it's very important to control the butterfly. Usually in Jabal Al Akhdar they do biocontrol with parasite to control this plant or this insect. This is the damage they cause. This is now clear. You can see it from outside. But sometimes they make this hole and they do the damage inside the fruit, and you don't see what's happening until you harvest the fruit or you buy it, and then you open the fruit, you find you have a problem. So biocontrol is the best way to control pomegranate butterfly. Another issue with pomegranate, very common. You can see it in pomegranate grown area. You can see the cracking here. You see the fruits are cracking. This is usually attributed to irregular irrigation. Why? Because the skin of the pomegranate is very hard. So if the tree is subjected to drought, and then you irrigate too much water, the fruit will expand. So the fruit will expand because the water gets in. So the water gets in, then the fruit will expand and it cracks the skin. It cracks the skin of the fruit. Also, when they are too ripe, sometimes when it is too ripe, already mature, but they are not harvested, they can also crack because that's a natural way. They crack to release the seeds. That's why they are cracking, because they want to release the seeds from the fruit. So when they are too ripe, also when they are irrigated irregularly, that's what happens. They crack, as you can see here. So the best way to handle this is to regulate irrigation. Make sure that you irrigate on regular basis. But sometimes humidity, rain, soil, all these are important factors in determining fruit cracking and the effect of fruit cracking. Okay, so as you know, local pomegranate is very, very important, and it is actually expensive, as you might be aware. Each one fruit maybe will cost you like 1 rial per fruit. Okay, so because this is very rare product, okay, and it is grown naturally. Even when you have a pomegranate butterfly, it is controlled by biological means, in biocontrol with parasites. So this is where it is sold. This market is actually in Nizwa, and if you go there during the season of pomegranate, you find a lot of the pomegranate being sold by these local people in the market. Some of this is also sold in Jabal Al Akhdar itself. So this is basically quick information about cultivating and the characteristics of pomegranate that is grown in Jabal Al Akhdar. Other fruit trees that are grown there include walnut, also peach, apricot, plum, apple, pear, almond, and so many others. Even pistachio can be grown there. Unfortunately, we cannot go this year to Jabal Akhdar. We are planning before. We always go to Riyadh al Jabal every year, but this year we could not go because of the COVID problem. But inshallah, if you have any opportunity in the future, we'll arrange a field trip to Riyadh al Jabal, where all these crops are grown. So you can see the diversity of fruit trees in Oman. And with this, I finish this lecture. Thank you for listening. And you have any questions, please ask. And good luck with everything. Goodbye.